well, this is interesting. What the fuck is going on here? Isn't that weird? We're in person. Holy shit. Welcome to Brewing Controversy. I'm Lucas.
I'm David.
And we're both sitting here. That is just a wall. That little line back there is just a wall. It's just a window frame. And the sign is physically here. Look. He's here. I'm here. It's crazy. So
only in body though, not in mind. He's proven that repeatedly.
Right. Yeah. A lot of airheaded things have been going on. Welcome to Brewing Controversy. We are in person in Nash, Vegas. We are on a wobbly table at Fat Bottom Brewing, one of my faves, and I'm really glad to be back here. Really glad to be seeing my buddy David and doing some full flight action tonight. We'll get to that. I'm in town for some family things for the week, and it was totally logical that we should do a show. So we decided to do that. David's trying to sneak into the flight as soon as possible. He's fiending hard.
I am.
He has a pint on the way, but he just can't wait.
I can't. There's beer in front of me, and it isn't in my belly.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly. I find it interesting that it was willing to put the graphic over the little name thing. That doesn't seem like what it used to do. But they do make upgrades frequently to this, so who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's good to see you. We are hoping our sound check was accurate. You can let us know in the comments if there's anything that you would prefer to hear or see differently, because we only have so much feedback. But tonight it's a sing-along thing or something, so you may hear some brouhaha in the background because there's a sing-along karaoke. I don't know. Fat Bottom is doing a thing every night now, a themed event every night. It's pretty cool. The place is packed tonight. Every single corner of this building has something. There's an event in the event space. There's the thing with the music downstairs. We're up here in the loft overlooking the actual brewery, which is pretty rad. Like literally the tanks and barrels and stock and empty cans and the whole nine. It's all back here. Bridget's here. Hi, Bridget. Good to see you. So we're going to do a little special something tonight. Instead of running through the normal schedule, we're going to run down a flight. We've got a flight of each of the brands in-house here. We've got 4 Fat Bottom brews and 4 Music City brews. There's John. John's here. He'll definitely tell us if we fucked up the microphone situation. We did our best noisy location sound check, John. You can tell us if it's correct. Good to see you. I'll be seeing John in a couple nights, actually, at another one of my favorite breweries, so that'll be fun. So yeah, we're gonna get started with some breaking news-ish. Just catch people up on where we are, as opposed to a happy hour, hot take happy hour. David's gonna kind of bring us up to speed on, the fucking America's sweetheart Johnson and his latest fucking budget stuff in Congress. Then we're going to roll through a little a review of the election last week. And good to know, John. John says that he can hear us, but there's some lady on a PA that's loud as shit. And you are correct, sir.
That is exactly what is happening.
Allegedly, she's over there in the side room, but her sound is going straight up the fucking stairs over here. So we're doing our thing. We're getting along.
And Rob just pointed out the clip that I didn't find for you. If you haven't seen the clip, we'll put it up on later. But you have to see Senator Mike Mullins think that he's going to take on the president of the Teamsters in the middle of a committee hearing. That's fun. Beautiful. It is a beautiful moment. Like, he stands up, he's acting like he's going to go, and I'm like, hold up. You're going to try and fight the president of the Teamsters.
Yeah, that's wild. So, yeah, Rob's here.
Much.
John's here. Bridget's here. We got everybody's hellos on the screen. When you show up, feel free to say hi. Chime in, drop some comments. Have a blast with us. This will be a lot of fun.
But in other news, so tonight it looks like we are going to have another continuing resolution on the budget. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with what that means, So typically in these sorts of situations, when you have a divided Congress, you get very often, especially conservatives who want to play around with the budget and shut down the U.S. government.
Or the stuff that they don't like. Like they would love it if they could get away with keeping some of the things.
But
They're really just
things,
nihilistically after destroying everything because it's not worth it to them to keep the couple of things that they actually give a shit about.
So the main thing,
Rob's going to go do his civic duty tonight and go to
There you
the city council meeting in Hawthorne.
Good for you, Rob.
Let me know if they've replaced all that like 1958 hardware on the wall that we were. Also, let us know if the Neil Young cosplayer attends your meeting again. Seriously, in Hawthorne, California, there's a guy that looks exactly like Neil Young that shows up to their meetings. Maybe it is him.
It might be. Anyway,
conspiracy.
So, what the thing that sunk McCarthy that caused conservatives to rebel and overthrow him was McCarthy proposed and moved to pass what's called a continuing resolution. Which basically what that means is that we're not going to have a big fight over the budget right now. We're just going to continue funding things at their current level. Now, that you normally need to increase funding in a few areas. You need to make adjustments. But with a continuing resolution, typically it's what's called clean. In other words, there's no what are called riders, which are special requirements of, we're going to add this new program, or we're going to cut funding to this program. These continuing resolutions are clean, which means there's no political fight about them. No one's winning anything, no one's losing anything. Except conservatives feel like they're losing something. So the very thing that McCarthy did that got him ousted as Speaker, Johnson is now set to do again. And again, just like McCarthy, do it without a unanimous Republican caucus. It looks like he's going to pass this.
They're going to let him do it.
With Democratic support. They're going to let him do it, although apparently there's already talk of retaliation.
But if you're McCarthy, it automatically gets you fucked. But for little baby boy Johnson, it's okay.
I think that now the pressure's on with them about.
Hey, look, Morgan's here too.
We can't just toss over Johnson after we spent 2 weeks in the wilderness. Basically looking like we couldn't wipe our own ass.
Pretty much. That really is the summary of that period of time.
So it's going to be interesting going forward, whether what's going to happen with that, whether or not we're going to see a lot of movement and a lot more infighting in the Republican caucus. Which
I hope so.
I mean, already I don't know if any of you all saw the clip of Steny Hoyer slapping down Lauren Boebert earlier this week. Which, by the way, having worked in Congress, and at the time I was actually working for the Republican Party. If there was one thing that I understood very clearly, it was that I do not want to cross Steny Hoyer at all. I do not want to have him angry and be in my presence, or within 50 yards of me, and have him be angry.
And go find the clip, because it's basically the closest that Steny Hoyer can come to saying, "Shut up, you stupid little ignorant girl." In the most politically correct way.
I want to be very clear. There's far less epithets in what Lucas just said compared to what was going through Steny Hoyer's mind. I can guarantee
Probably,
that.
Yeah.
I've heard Steny Hoyer away from a microphone. He would make a sailor blanch.
Rob wants to know why we're not at the Preds Ducks game. Partly because
and also
bad planning on my part. I didn't think about it.
I have no desire to see a massacre.
That's also true. We do know what we're dealing with here. And yes, Bridget, girls rule, unless they're dumbass bimbos that think they can swindle America. Then I have a problem. But I would have paid to see him go off on her. I wouldn't have any reason to donate to him ever. Why do I care? But I would have. If he had just pulled the thing that Biden did, why don't you just shut up, man? If he had found a version of that for Boebert, I'd have been like, where is his website? $50. That's what we just need to do, is start some kind of make it rain tipping scheme for the Democrats to get them to have some balls. Like every time they just show a tiny bit of spine, it's like you hear this cash register sound, and then there's like falling money emojis and shit. Like
Steny Hoyer doesn't need your money. Steny Hoyer will simply sit there until the end of time, and he'll still be able to kick people's ass, just like the Teamsters president getting ready to kick Mike Mullins' ass earlier today. That was so close to being a glorious moment.
Find it. Go find it.
And I have to say, Sanders has been taking some flack for some things that he said recently. Of the things that he should take flack for, it is, as the committee chair, stopping that fight between Mullins and the Teamster president. That's the thing that we need to have the most flack.
Are people finally going full Zionist on Bernie? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, some people have been a little bit like, well, no, it's the fact that Bernie has been a little bit too Zionist. It's been
he's not being progressive enough.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's stupid. Come on, Bernie, quit selling out. I'm so tired of the corrupt analogy of Israel to the Jew. It's not the same. Israel is a corrupt bag of horse shit. Jewish folks are Jewish folks. They're not the same. But since I invoked it, it's time. And look, it gets to be under me.
There you go.
For once, the horse shit is wafting into my face. It's always David's side of the screen.
It is always.
So let's talk about the election last week. Boy, was that some fun, huh?
That was entertaining.
So we've got spine dollars for Dems. Yes. Democratic campaigns to launch next year. So there's a bunch of stuff. Oh my God. What an action-packed Tuesday for an off year.
As we begin the segment, we should probably
should drink some beer. Let's drink some beer. So what do you got over there?
So I have the Office Bad Boy, which is a peppercorn-infused lager.
And this is the Fat Bottom side of the house. So Fat Bottom owns the Music City Brewing brand as well. So basically there's two. There's Fat Bottom and Music City under one roof. So Office Bad Boy was a saged, right?
No, this is peppercorn.
Peppercorn.
It's a lager. That's solid.
Well, fuck.
Right?
I like that.
Right?
I like it a lot.
No, I mean, and what it does.
Normally, I'm like, lagers are going to be meh.
What this does
is fascinating.
Right? What this does, it's so cool, is it has a really nice, clean, even.
He's not getting it back.
Just kidding.
Here,
no, that's fine. No, you're good.
No, I don't want it.
No, I sipped on it earlier.
Don't need it all.
Take it.
Heart health. Take it. Oh. I played the medical card.
Damn it. But what it's doing is it's got a really nice, easy lager malt flavor, but then it pops it with this really nice, strong pepper flavor.
Yeah, but it's not like a obnoxious pepper flavor. It's like you might hear peppercorn and think, oh, I don't like it when I bite down on those. It's not like that. It's like a proper seasoned pepper. Yeah.
It's like someone added a lot of pepper to a lager.
Hey, look, Brian's here
works.
under one of his many aliases. That's me. I'll take it.
Thank you.
Now I have food that I can like stick in my face hole in front of her.
Right?
Holy shit. Okay, while we're busy talking all the good stuff about Fat Bottom. Okay, hold on. Let me take Brian off the screen. God wants me to butt chug. No. And then Rob's heading to his city council meeting, so have fun. So look at this thing. This is the chicken nachos. Look at this thing. It's incredible. I shouldn't be eating it, and I'm going to. I don't know how much of that I'm going to get through before we finish, but we have a twofer tonight. We're going to try to skedaddle out of here if we make it, and go to the Monday Night Brewing location that's here now in Nashville. So that's the Atlanta folks have opened their Nashville spot. I am very, very interested in seeing. I love Monday night, so I'm really hopeful that we can slide over there. after that. Yeah, that plate. Yeah, that's a big ass plate, John. You got it right. So let's run this thing down. Let's talk about this election because we're shooting for a 1 hour show, so that we can we've bounce to the other brewery. So here's the deal. No, that's the Biden topic, and that's last. But anyway, there were elections last Tuesday in some places. If you were paying attention, you were paying attention, and if you weren't, it was Tuesday. But Ohio. Ohio really slapped down the dogs that caught the tire. So David's got this dog catching the car.
Like I said, when they overturned Roe v. Wade, the dog finally caught the car.
Yep,
that's what was going to happen.
So now you're seeing basically what happened in Ohio is the dog going like around the fucking wheel well, and really like it's really just showing that reasonable people don't want this bullshit. Reasonable people are not into the Handmaid's Tale reality that these fuckers would like to push onto all of us, and they went in on codifying abortion protection in their constitution.
And to be clear,
and they did this after getting their asses handed into them last year with their attempt to make it earlier this year with making the law different so you couldn't do what was done on Tuesday.
I want to say in Ohio, I think that's the real kicker. Is I think a lot of people, whether or not they were necessarily pro-choice or anti-choice, or whether or not people felt one way about the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, I think the real misstep that seems to have occurred in Ohio was that they tried to rig the game, and they tried to rig the game very clearly, very blatantly in front of everyone. And that really pushed a lot of people over the edge.
So it was really obvious that they knew they were going to probably have a hard time pushing this over on people, and they tried to rig the game.
Yeah,
David, I need to let you and everyone else know about something very important. They have the really good crunchy chips.
Make it show.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to make it show.
Ow. Get back.
Because I was trying to answer this question by Johnny. So, yes, what is happening right now in Ohio is that you do have the Ohio State Legislature trying to find a way to invalidate the vote. Now, the problem that they're running into is that the way the amendment was written, it is self-executing. Now, what does that mean in terms of law? That means with some constitutional amendments, Congress has to pass an act to give the amendment force. The amendment gives you a right. The state or federal legislature gives it a shape when they pass an act concerning that right.
Like Michigan, we had the referendum on codifying the right to abortion, but then the state house, both houses had to run through legislation that actually follows the will of the people to do that through law. That didn't have to happen in Ohio. Or it doesn't have to happen.
It doesn't have to happen in Ohio because the amendment is self-executing. Now, the problem that they're running into now...
Damn, John. Self-executing sounds emo. Holy shit.
But now the challenge that they're running into is that they've got to find a way to... or they're trying to find a way to get around enforcing this law. So, in other words, they want to try and find a way to say, okay, well, the amendment was vague, so we'll pass legislation which effectively invalidates the amendment. Well, the problem is, even with Ohio's conservative Supreme Court, you still run into a big issue of, no, there's a constitutional amendment now. We don't, the language isn't that vague. It's pretty clear about this is a right. Now, are there aspects of it that might get fine-tuned, like age limits? That's definitely an area where the Republicans feel like they have some realm to be like, hey, 16-year-olds shouldn't be having abortions without their parents' consent.
I think they're really just getting outplayed. They're getting outgamed.
They really did this time. But I think that
the Democrats knew how to do it the way that would be the most solid.
Yeah, and I think that the main thing that I think again that set this off was it was such a blatant power grab. Right. It was such an shameless power grab that there was no way this was going to pass.
Hey, you guys are on point with the hot take comments tonight. I'm a self-executor button. You won't need to, Morgan. You won't need to, because when you try to run from the oh shit, what are the Handmaid's Tale security guides?
The eyes.
Guys. Yeah, when you try to run from the eyes, yeah, you're gonna get whacked. Yes, that is Nine Inch Nails in the background.
That is.
They're doing at least their music taste seems to be pretty good. Yeah. I don't know what they're doing. It's like a guess the track kind of thing. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, I'd be acing the shit out of whatever that is if we were participating. So anyway, Ohio has it going on for women. They also have it going on for weed.
Which is, again, another thing that the legislature is trying to find, because that amendment wasn't self-executing. So that is going to be a fight.
It's like they want to alienate everybody that's not a boomer. It's like they're trying. Like, how could we alienate anyone that's not a boomer? Let the people pass recreational weed, and then we'll just try to get in the way of it as much as possible.
I think we're underestimating what their goals are. Because, in the wake of the Ohio decision, a South Dakota legislator was the one who came up with the whole shtick about, we just need to, democracy isn't fit for this. We shouldn't be using democracy for this. It was his quote. And I think that's where we kind of are with some of the thinking on this, is that it doesn't really matter what the vote is if it doesn't go our way. If it goes our way, then it's great. We have popular support. If it doesn't, then our goal then becomes to invalidate the functioning of democracy. And beyond that, shouldn't we care about that, whether or not this has support or not? Well, the only people whose support they care about are the people who write them checks.
Okay. These are like the best comments we've had in 6 months. Pot and pussy for the win. In that order. I am not high enough to keep up with you people, which means I'm also not high at all yet. It's going to be interesting. Like, watch Ohio. Ohio is going to be a very interesting, instructive process.
Does this translate next year into any sort of electoral earthquake for anyone? I feel like if I'm Sherrod Brown, the Democratic senator from Ohio, I'm feeling pretty good about tonight.
Last week, not tonight.
Or not tonight, but last week rather. I'm feeling pretty good tonight. I'm feeling pretty good all the way through the election. I don't know if that's going to translate into a swing for anyone else in Ohio. I mean, this is a state that elected J.D. Vance, and that's bad. That's really bad.
Can't win them all. All right, let's drink some more beer.
Yeah.
So, working our way down the Fat Bottom lineup.
Yeah, I've got the Hazel.
The Hazel. All right, so I've already had this. I had a pint of this, and I'll go ahead and talk about it while he drinks it. In fact, you can have all of that one. So, the Hazel is an IPA. It's a hazy IPA. It's very drinkable. It's very light.
It's got a lot of pineapple.
It does, which makes me happy because I like pineapple. I felt like it came in without too much punchy hoppiness.
It was not. It's not.
It was very approachable.
This is very much. I would say this: if it was hotter, I would definitely see this as being something I would reach for. As something that was refreshing.
Honestly, that's why it hit for me earlier, because I was running up and down, putting stuff up here because we're in the loft level, and I had on another layer because I've learned from living in Michigan. And I was a little bit, I had long sleeves, and I was like, this. I'm kind of warm, and it's warmer up here than it is downstairs, and like it was refreshing. It was good for that. So yeah, I think it hits in that way, and it's very approachable. Like if somebody's like not sure about hazy IPA, I think the hazel.
Yeah, that one is definitely
the gateway.
The IBUs on that are definitely on the lower end of an IPA. So that is, I almost put it on the realm of like a pineapple, a especially punchy pineapple lager.
Yeah, I can see that. Bridget pointed out that the registered new voters was pretty high in Ohio, and that's a good sign.
Yeah, that is normally good. You know, that was one of my comments the night of the election was the biggest indicator that a Democrat is about to win is high voter turnout.
So, Johnny, you're ahead of the game. Biden's on our list at the end of this, and we will be talking about exactly some of this topic. So, yes, we can all take shifts holding up Biden weekend of Bernie style. So let's move down to Kentucky. So the bluegrass state re-elected this year their Democratic governor, who is arguably a corporate meh Democrat, right? Like he's a standard issue.
He is a very centrist.
Yeah, standard issue centrist Democrat. But he won the last time, and then he just won re-election with more support than the previous time, and flipped a bunch of counties that were Trump counties into votes for him.
Here's the thing about,
which is good to see, but it's not exactly some leading edge leftist progress.
Well, but here's the other thing about that situation, which is his daddy was governor.
Yeah, it's a dynasty.
His daddy was governor and a popular governor. I don't know if anyone can read anything as a gain for Democrats as much as, Jefferson County, which is Louisville, showed up when they were supposed to. And I hate to put too fine a point on it, but in Kentucky, when you're running a black Republican as your candidate, you're going to get a lot of rural white Republicans who aren't going to show up. It's that I don't think that there was. I don't think Republicans necessarily had their head in the game. I feel like in this instance, you had a guy who felt it was his turn, that he'd done all the mean, horrible things that he possibly could as Kentucky Attorney General,
including not prosecuting the cops that killed Breonna Taylor.
Yep.
Like that motherfucker, that race traitor, Uncle Tom, house ass motherfucker. I said all of those things in that order just now. Deal with it. That motherfucker deserved to lose, if anybody does.
But you're running him against a dynasty, old school Southern Democrat.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything to be read into Kentucky other than there are. Democrats need to be aware that there are winning combinations that are not necessarily always within their wheelhouse.
Right.
Like looking at Christian Cinema, which made sense at the beginning and then rapidly didn't. But Manchin, who is quitting, again, that's someone who is
Manchin
in there, but I'm willing to run with a D next to his name. But
I mean, he'll probably get replaced with a Republican, but is it that different, really?
And the reality is, it won't be. That's why I don't think anyone's terribly concerned about it. Mostly because Manchin will vote on procedural votes with Democrats, but on a variety of
California,
on a variety of other topics.
There's a freaking
not
IPAs are so popular with fucking fruit flies. It's insane. Anyway,
yeah. So nothing of value is lost.
Yeah. See, John, I'm not going to go there. We all know that. When you said house, Morgan's eyes shot over. No. Everybody knows. House is the only word you need to explain what that phrase is. It's not my place to finish that phrase. I am not part of the group he is basically stabbing in the ass. Yeah, Joe Manchin is definitely a conservative wearing blue clothing. I don't think he's retiring. I'm not sure I trust him.
I would imagine that maybe him and Justice are going to switch places. Is maybe where he's going with this. Which is Justice is the current Republican governor of West Virginia. So Manchin takes over as governor of West Virginia.
That tracks.
And Justice takes his spot as senator. Yeah, Brian, he is a dino.
Definitely.
But here's the thing: we need to acknowledge the realities of legislative politics, and Manchin does vote with Democrats on procedural votes, which are important.
I think we can find another place where we'll get a Democratic senator.
I think that there's an opportunity to. There's always opportunities in Texas, but I think Mississippi. One of the things that we didn't have up here, that we didn't mention, was the Mississippi election, and I think the fact that the Republican governor only won by 5 points in Mississippi is suggesting that Jefferson County is starting to get fed up enough that people will actually show up and vote. And again, for those of you who don't know what Jefferson County is Jackson, Mississippi. One of the major things that was theorized is maybe put Tate over the top this time was Jefferson County ran out of ballots on election night.
What?
They ran out of ballots.
How is that even A, possible,
yeah.
B, legally defensible?
They printed more ballots and they delivered more to them. Later on, they kept the polls open. But one of the things that may have pushed Tate over was Jefferson County running out of ballots.
I did not hear about this.
Yeah.
So I'm learning it for the first time right now. If this happened on the other side, we would hear about it for the next 35 fucking years.
Yes.
I can't believe these fucking people. All right. Well, great. Maybe there is hope in Mississippi.
I mean, there's room for pickups. I think there's room for pickup a pickup in Mississippi. There is room for a pickup. I would argue in Kansas. There's room for a pickup in, of all places, Florida. I think that there's growing momentum in Florida.
Well, I mean, you can only slam against the other guardrail so hard before the momentum bounces you over.
Well,
I mean
that, and I think that my impression is that the county Democratic people are no longer listening to Miami-Dade Democratic Party, Broward County Democratic Party, or the state Democratic Party.
Yeah.
There are other nodes of Democratic political action that are growing inside Florida that are no longer relying on those very obviously very defective organizations to try and keep themselves relevant. Because the fact that the Miami-Dade Democratic Party can't even get a mayor elected in in a major U.S. city is tragic.
Yeah.
You couldn't find a Democratic Cuban, really?
Good point. I don't know though. I mean, that's tough though, because you got the admiration of authoritarian strongmen, though they've fled one. But also you've got the religious angle, and that plays pretty hardcore.
Well, traditionally, again, it's been a Democratic city, and who was it? Education Secretary Juan Castro, right, from Miami-Dade.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, you can get congressmen elected out of there, but somehow you can't get the mayor. I'm
too many grandmas. Now we've made John think about food. Cuban sandwich. You're right, though.
Yeah.
Sandwich.
Cuban sandwich is always slap.
So let's jump out of order here as we move from Kentucky to Virginia. Let's go to the blonde, the Sage Sandy.
Okay.
That's the one that I was confusing earlier.
Yeah.
So the normal
Oh wow.
Sandy is a anniversary blonde ale. Whoa,
Yeah.
there's some sage going on there. All right, well, you know what? You
Taste it.
That's fascinating. It starts out just like a normal blonde ale, and you assume that the next flavor you're going to get is that skanky aftertaste that most blondes have. But it goes right into the sagey thing.
Yeah, and it's not just a little sage. It's like a very herby, strong sage.
Yeah. It's got some character. It doesn't linger.
No.
Though.
Well, a little.
But not like it's not like, oh my god, I can't taste anything but sage. It's very appropriate level.
I don't know. I'm getting a lot of sage.
But it's not sticking with me so much that I think it's going to affect the next thing that I do.
I
did pick it out because I thought it would go better with these nachos.
I'm still tasting sage right now. I'm just not gonna lie.
Maybe you don't sage as much as I sage. I sage like in order for it to be a breakfast item that's supposed to be savory, it must have sage, or I'm not having it. So like if I decide I'm doing sage eggs or whatever, like yeah, it's happening.
Okay.
So I like sage. What can I say? Anyway, it's good.
Also,
I like it, and it doesn't have the skanky aftertaste that most.
No, it does not have. It does not have a skanky like. And what you're referring to is that skank is that malt finishing.
Yeah, but there's plenty of malt finish that's not quite as as most of the blonde ales I've had.
No, that is super unique.
This music situation is killing me because I know downstairs there's a whole bunch of people under 30 that are getting their asses kicked at whatever game this is. And I could go down there and own them. And I'm here for you people, and that's okay. So yeah, I like that.
Here, you should try.
Let's finish out the fat bottom side of the table.
Try that because that is delicious.
I'm not ready for this. If I drink a Christmas ale, then I have to acknowledge that it's time to acknowledge that it's the holiday season.
Just drink the
I'm not
fucking
ready
beer.
for that. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's like every animated Christmas special from my childhood.
Right?
Just came and jerked off on my tongue.
Even the California raisins.
Wow, that's good.
Right?
It's not obnoxious.
Exactly.
Most holiday ales are so
It's
fucking
like
obnoxious.
it's either like you get a big mouthful of coriander, or a big mouthful of clove, or a big mouthful of, cinnamon.
Yeah, that's good.
This you get like
It's
this
fabulous.
real. It's clove. It's very clove forward,
Yeah.
but it's not. The clove gets swallowed up very quickly by.
The elves jerking off on your tongue.
Yeah, that.
You just pictured it, didn't you?
Unfortunately.
Itty bitty elves
Unfortunately.
standing on your molars.
Oh no. Oh, okay. But I'm gonna guess it's. I mentioned California raisins. I'm gonna guess it's currants.
Yeah.
Is the clove gets chased off by a light currant and maybe a little bit of cinnamon. Yeah.
The Grinch jizzing in your mouth. Yeah. Oh, they know that song. The 20-somethings know Just a Friend. Got what I need. Okay. So yeah, or Rudolph. That's
No bestiality on the show.
Won't you guide my sleigh
bestiality.
tonight? That's good. I could. So that on a chilly day really works.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that is currant. That's what I'm getting? Is it goes
Might
from
be.
clove to currant, and then that currant kind of finishes it out with a little bit of cinnamon.
Yeah. Okay. I stand corrected on my suspicions of holiday ales.
Yeah, I mean,
I do think that could get old
Well,
if you did too much. of it.
here's the one thing about this that's a little bit dangerous, is that most holiday ale is going to be kind of thick, right? This is not thick.
Yeah.
It is. You could definitely slam one of these back really quick, and at 7.7%, it's going to make your night a little bit more lively, a little bit more quicker than you thought it was going to.
All right, so let's hit up a palate cleanser before we move on, because we do have enough beers to space through.
Yeah.
And this will help us break between Fat Bottom and Music City side. This is the Bravazzi Hard Italian Soda in blood orange. I'm a sucker for blood orange, so when we were talking with our server who's did you catch her name? We need to shout out. We'll find out who that is. She's been great. She's really like
I feel like
and knowledgeable.
I feel like such an asshole right now. I forgot.
Yeah, because you actually work in this business. I'm not actually obligated to remember jack shit, but you're supposed to remember things. Don't be guessing, though. Don't try to guess. Save it for the elves. So this is the blood orange Bravazzi, which is hilarious to me because it sounds like the name they would give a supercar in Grand Theft Auto. In fact, there might be one called the Bravazzi. Anyway, blood orange is always a winner for me. Oh shit, that's really tasty. That's way better than I thought it would be.
So that's just straight soda.
Yeah. See, I thought this was going to be some hard seltzer bullshit because I'm really tired of that trend. Like, not everyone needs to make a hard seltzer. It's okay.
No.
It's all right, Cupcake. You can just make beer.
That is just straight alcoholic
That-
soda. That is dangerous. That is that is definitely some shit to get your date drunk on right there.
Ladies. You're gonna get canceled. It kind of looks like Orange Crush. You're right, Bridget. It's actually pinker in person than it comes through on the stream. It's gorgeous though. When they set this down, I was like, holy shit, I want that soon. It looks very grapefruit juice in its real life color, but on screen it's looking a little bit more soda, more crushy, but it's quite pink. It's damn good.
Yeah.
And I love blood orange, basically anything.
But I mean, it's basically just soda.
It really is. It really is.
That's the approved statement from David. Yes.
Yep, exactly. And yes, Bridget,
Yeah.
yes. I told David last night, he was talking about somebody acting like they knew him or something. I said, no, they just thought you were
They just
Seth
thought it was
Rogen.
Seth Rogen again. Yeah.
It's Nashville. Who knows? Celebrities everywhere.
But no, that is just straight alcoholic soda. I wonder what's the ABV on that? Do you know?
Well, let's see. It's 4.2 across the line on the grapefruit and the peach, so I would assume that the other ones is grapefruit and peach. Holy shit! Now that I know it's good, I want all of it.
Right? I want the peach.
I'm gonna buy some goddamn Italian soda before I leave. You couldn't have told me that I would come back home to Nashville
And
my
buy
favorite brewery.
buy alcoholic Italian soda.
Buy alcohol soda, basically. All right. Well, cool. Let's move forward into Virginia.
Oh boy. So I mean, when this started, Youngkin was being propped up as
The governor, for those playing along
Yeah.
at home.
the governor of Virginia. Was being propped up as an alternative to Trump.
Governor half zip pullover.
Right? He has the entire. And someone mentioned this. You know, it is the white middle class conservative. I use middle class in quotes. Upper middle class style of. Why are you all constantly wearing these fleece vests? Do your arms not get cold? What? I don't. I like. And
It's so true, though.
Is your body constantly cold? That's Youngkin. Youngkin is the personification of going everywhere, even places where you normally expect someone to show up in a suit and tie. No. It's the fleece vest and the plaid shirt and the khaki pants.
His whole gimmick, like visually, is dad brand.
Yes.
All the way. But like conservative dad.
Yeah. So he hung his entire thing on. Well, I've got the secret for the dog not catching the car on rights, which is going to be, we're going to put exceptions in. We're going to have 15 weeks, et cetera, et cetera. And that's going to win me all the support and the legislature, everything else.
Slight miscalculation.
I don't, and I want to give you an idea of how badly it's gone. Really, inside the state. Apparently, there is now a Virginia state legislator.
The bottom of that hit different. It wasn't bad. It was just very rindy. The bottom of it went dishwater, but not like in a bad way. But just like it was a sweet part of the orange, and now it's the rind.
Okay,
I don't know why. Anyway,
but
back to things with no sweet part.
Right. Give you an idea of how bad it's gone. There are now conservatives inside the Virginia state legislature who now want to yet again divide Virginia. So now we have West Virginia, North Virginia, and South Virginia, where the conservatives could maintain control in South Virginia.
There's just like no limit to how many different ways they will cheat to win. It's just...
It's like, didn't we already do this?
I
don't understand.
Fair point, Bridget. There is no more middle class.
Yeah.
Kind of spot on there. So he promised that he could find a way to make it amicable for most people to get behind this.
Yeah, that was his entire shtick.
Take away women's bodily autonomy. Everybody will be cool with it if you do the right things. Oopsie. No, they're not. Because they won back, I think the Democrats had, the Senate, and they won back the House, or the other way around?
They had the Senate, and they won back the House. And the only reason
it was kind of close-ish on the number of members, but,
well, honestly,
an L is an L.
With the Virginia House of Delegates, it's always going to be close. It's designed to always be close.
Oh, right. House of Delegates. Everybody's got to have their stupid fancy name for their fucking legislature.
Well, I mean, it's 400 years old, so...
And?
They can name it whatever they want, okay?
I think they can piss up the same rope the General Assembly of Tennessee can... Like, they're all legislatures. Fuck you and your fancy name. You're a legislature.
I mean, it used to be the House of Burgesses, if it makes you feel any better.
Every time I've ever heard that phrase, I pictured nothing but the classic Batman series Penguin in multitudes. For the kids, there was an actor called Burgess Meredith who played the Penguin on the 60s Batman series. Oh. And if you imagine him in like 400-person quantity, it's really fucking disturbing, actually.
That is terrifying. That is actually, now that I have that image in my head, it's never going to leave. Oh, no, it's never going to leave. Oh, God. Okay.
Yep.
Trying to move on from that. Okay.
Batman cutaway now. Anyway, so Virginia basically said, fuck you, no thanks. We're not going to give it all to you. It could play out in interesting ways because it shows essentially last Tuesday, when you look at these three states, last Tuesday was really a little bit of everything. It was a little of columns A, B, and C. It was a litmus test for Democratic strategies and Republican face plants in a lot of different scenarios.
Yeah.
So it really becomes like the playbook for 24.
Possibly.
So if the Democrats don't fuck this up, which we all know they will and can and try to, but like they could, use last Tuesday as some blueprinting.
I mean,
Maybe.
right now, the theme of the evening seems to be hammer home on women's rights.
I normally don't post the comments that talk about people taking a break from the show because fundamental psychology and marketing, you don't tell people when someone is tuning out. You only share when they're tuning in. But this is too funny. First of all, Wow Wasabi is fucking incredible food. Used to be down the hall from my work. Well, my work used to be down the hall from Wow Wasabi. Wow Wasabi's still there. But neither I nor the company I work for are down the hall. But also, don't do anything weird while I'm gone. I prefer you watch you get David a handy while I watch. Oh, boy.
So, at any rate, the main point is this. It seems like pro-choice policies and hammering those home are, especially what it seems to be doing, is peeling away suburban Republican women. The GOP has traditionally had a lock on the white male vote. They've often had a harder time with the white female vote, especially college educated, which, in the 80s, early 90s, the likelihood of those women being college educated was about 70-30 against. Now it's more like 50-50, 60-40. These women have college educations and they expect to be treated a particular way, and the Republican Party not doing that.
Basically, they're too stupid for your bullshit.
Yeah.
Or too smart for your bullshit. Not stupid enough for your bullshit.
And also, Bridget, you're right.
What does that say? When you need people to be stupid enough to win? Yeah. What bar are you setting?
Also, you're right. Young people are a major factor. It's definitely a combo of young people showing up more often and healing. I mean, it's like the other night in Mississippi. One of the places where Presley did so much better in Mississippi in the governor's race was he peeled votes away from strongholds that Tate needed to win in spades.
Mm-hmm. I also find it fascinating that we live in a time when someone named Presley can't win Mississippi. That's a very interesting.
Well, it's also the same Presley.
Huh?
It's just like grandnephew.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
In case you didn't, I took that to be common knowledge, but in case you didn't know, that Presley, that is the name you're hearing.
Yeah.
Direct bloodline to the king. But yeah, it did show some progress. That's the interesting part.
I think that so the 1-2 punch is that younger voters showing up in higher numbers and
women not being as stupid as the Republicans wish they were.
Right. Well, I mean, it's always you've got to overperform in some places and have your opponent underperform in others. And I think the underperformance that we're seeing on the Republican side, especially, is Republican women not towing the party line on a lot of Republican issues and voting against the party to which they've traditionally been attached. I think that is becoming more of a concern for Republicans. I don't think they have a good answer to it because their only answer is shut up and get back in the kitchen. I mean, when you have a significant undercurrent, when you're looking at about a quarter of the party who thinks that contraception should be illegal, when you're looking at about a third of the party who is
every sperm is sacred,
if not outright rejecting, is at least questioning women's suffrage.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. When you just keep on going backward, when that's your thing, it's just not working.
Yeah.
So let's jump into some really
beer.
Oh, beer, right? Yes. Let's jump into some beer. So now we're on the Music City Brewing side. Let's go down our
yeah. You want to do
corner.
pitch?
Yeah, let's do pitch. So
you should try the pitch. I've had the pitch a bunch.
I had pitch before.
This is the new pitch.
So has it changed?
Yes.
Really? Still a lager, right?
Yeah.
Or Pilsner. Which one is it?
It's a lager.
I'm afraid.
It's a lager.
You have this tendency to like mix and match
Lager and Pilsner.
information.
Well, technically, Pilsner is a lager, but it's kind of like a square is a rectangle. A rectangle is
They
not
don't
a
even
square.
fucking say what it is on their menu. The official beer of our friends at Nashville Soccer Club, which it is. And
I mean, so it used to
if
be.
you've ever seen me wearing the Fat Bottom Nashville Soccer T-shirt, that's what this is.
It used to be Pitch Invasion. It used to be a kind of a punchy IPA. They've reworked it into much more of a lager flavor. It's still got a little bit of that IPA. It's a little hoppy for a lager, but it's not
really though, not a lot.
No.
Good God, you can see through it.
Yeah.
That's normally a rule. I'm not going to like it if I can see through it. It's not bad.
No.
And for those that don't know, pitch is the field in soccer.
I mean, I find it, like, especially on a hot day, again, that's very drinkable.
Not bad. I
Yeah.
don't like the previous pitch. I don't love it. I love that Fat Bottom has it, or now Music City.
Also, I forgot the citrus flavor on this.
Yeah.
Is really great. It's got a big lemon flavor to it.
It really does. Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I love some citrus, and that's a good piece of this. Yeah.
I'd say the only downside of it is like that little, like, you were talking about the blonde skunky aftertaste, which is that this finishes very skunky.
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah. Bridget, that's a great question. I'm not sure what else everybody else is drinking, but they're welcome to share that.
Yeah.
Feel free to pitch your beverages or other things into the comments. You like those see-through pennies I wear for you? You know it. It's really a great way to get a head start finding your peen. So, I mean, I gotta do something over here to defend myself. I don't know. So yeah, pitch is great. I'm glad they have it. I don't know if I would seek it out on a regular basis. I certainly wouldn't buy a pack of it to keep it at home, but that's a personal preference. There's plenty of reason for people that like this style of beer.
You know what? I'm not normally a big lager guy. I really enjoy pitch. I think as lagers go, pitch is definitely one of those that I can sit down and drink and really enjoy.
David's a pitch bitch. We got that. All right, cool. Let's go hyper local. So I got a couple of Michigan things that'll be fun to talk about. One is, this is just so stupid. There's this place called Green Charter Township. Bridget may be able to educate everybody. I can't keep this whole system straight. I haven't learned it. I'm not a good Michigander yet. We have villages, townships, charter townships, and cities, and I'm really not sure of all the details. I think cities basically provide all their own services and shit, where the others rely on the county. I'm not sure what a charter township versus a township is, but Green Charter Township, ironically, Green, lost their collective shit because the leaders of their township made a deal for a Chinese EV battery company to build a plant in their community, which would employ 2,300 people. They decided we don't like money, we don't like jobs. Because, do you know the detail reason?
Apparently, it was just because they were Chinese. I mean,
it gets better than that.
Oh no!
Because they take issue with the company's foundation. Whatever, I don't know if it's charter or documents, whatever. Yeah. The company's foundation pledges loyalty to the party and the government of China.
For those of you playing at home, when you live in a semi-totalitarian communist society, that's kind of par for the course.
You can't have a company if you don't pledge to the party. It's the way communist governments work. And you can not like communist governments all you want to. That's great and shit. But they were just going to try to build fucking batteries for the EV revolution. And you have the same fucking bubbas that complain about, we're all going to lose our jobs to all this damn battery technology. We should never give up petrol.
And here we have someone trying to build a battery
and employ 2,300 people. So they basically they clean the fuck out. I don't even know who these fucking Karens are that got elected. I don't know if they're capable. I don't know if they have any knowledge. But every fucking the treasurer, the clerk, their like regular aldermen or representatives or whatever the fuck their thing, like all of them, they cleared them the fuck out. They had like a reporter from, I forgot if it was MSNBC or CNN, but one guy that had like been there like all week, and he's just walking around the office like, yeah, it's pretty empty here because the older guard just kind of, left. They were kicked out by the voters, and now the new people are here sorting through things, and they just look like a whole bunch of confused fucking like randos flipping through papers trying to figure. Like, I can't imagine the shit show that's about to unfold when these random fucking idiots decide to start trying to do government. And then
again, for those of you who have not heard my spiel, this is why I am not in favor of term limits, because as much as you may not like it, occasionally having a professional political class is helpful to, continuity of government and keeping shit working.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna face plant real hard, and it's gonna be fun to watch. But the best part is the deal's basically been made. Like, the company is still gonna be pushing forward the whole plan.
Yeah,
and I would love to see them go full hardcore petty and be like, in order to get hired at our plant, we're gonna need to see your voter record. Oh, you voted to kick out the leaders that supported. Okay, well, you obviously don't want us to be here, so why the fuck do we want you to be here? We're going to hire all the employees from the next town, right? Which is hilarious because the next town is Big Rapids, which is a college town. So, fine, sure. Like, it's just mind-boggling. And the biggest irony of it is that they basically went full South Park. You never go full South Park. They basically went, they took your germs without having the germs. It's just astonishing. It's a laughing stock. I hope they can be successful for the people, but I really would enjoy seeing the fallout. I was not aware it's a conservative college town, Bridget. Thank you very much for clearing that up. And Johnny's got a Good People IPA. That is a good selection.
That's a good choice.
So next for us is the Amber, Music City Amber.
Yeah.
I'm always a fan of an amber beer. There are a lot of jokes to be inserted about my dating history that go along with the preferences for the amber beer. Either that or their
does it involve
Ruby. Their Ruby is also another joke about.
Right. Well, I was about to say, does it involve women taking shits in your bed? I don't.
No, it involves redheads. What were you thinking, you sick bastard? All right.
I'm curious to see where Lucas is at with this one.
Very light.
Yeah.
It really doesn't have a lot of character. It really doesn't do a lot of the sending home of the amber ale thing.
It does not.
I can see why people like it. I can also see through this one better than the other one. There's a lot of beer I can see through in the Music City line, which is that's on purpose. I kind of feel like it's where Fat Bottom's able to offload a lot of their bro beers, a lot of their like regular, keg stand fodder.
Yeah,
which is fine because it's better keg stand fodder than the commercial, like giant corporate basic shit. I don't hate it.
right.
In the absence of being able to buy Yingling, which used to be officially the cheapest, shittiest beer that Lucas would buy before they went all in on Trump donors.
Yeah, that was bad.
Being Trump donors. That's a decent substitute.
No more Nazi beer.
It doesn't have nearly as much character as Yingling, though, but it's a decent substitute.
No, I mean,
Amber Heard enters the chat. I love it. I can't wait to see what they do with her in the next Aquaman movie. She's in the trailer for like a half second, so it'd be interesting to see how they handle that.
Apparently it's in her contract for fucking forever.
I would just love to see them like have her in some kind of like litigation and get kicked out, and that's her scene. That's her whole scene. Just because, she may be stuck in the movie with contracts, but that means she just has to act the things that they write for her, and that could be a party. What? I was team Johnny Depp the whole time, which is interesting because normally I give I give all of my preference to the attractive woman in the room. I know that flaw. I'm bad about it, but I can't abide her. So, do you still feel the same about this as before, or have you changed your opinions?
I mean, I think you're right. It's not as. I think when it's colder, since we've been sitting here for a while, it's changed a little. I think when it's colder, it's got a little bit more bite to it, and it's a little bit more enjoyable. I mean, it's the same. Like, I would not drink Yingling at this temperature. Like Yingling would be unpalatable at this temperature.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The fact that this is still palatable at this temperature is
right. That's a good point. No, Yingling, no. There's almost nothing more vile than a warm Yingling.
No, that is yeah. Like legitimately, warm like Budweiser. It's bad, but you can power through that shit.
All it does when it gets warm is get back to its home as urine. I mean,
warm Coors Light. Again, you can power through that shit. Warm Yingling? Ooh, no, sir. No. That is no.
I'm with you, John. It's a shame that she gets any kind of work. Mainly because she needs to be an example of, like, you need to be telling the truth. Like, all of us want to take these things seriously, get to the bottom of them, and fix shit. And so when you come out lying and fucking around, then you're basically just doing women a disservice. So that always bugs me. 3-year-old Yingling in the garage that's been through 3 Tennessee summers and floated on the lake. Holy shit. Well, you know what you do with Yingling. You just give it to your Republican friends. Or libertarian friends. Same difference. So, the next hyper-local topic. Grand Rapids Public Schools is getting a re-up of a millage for school funding. It's not a new tax. It doesn't go up or down. It was just a stay the same and keep funding the schools? ? But I heard some interesting things around the community. I had some people really talking about like voting no on it and forcing them to live on a smaller amount of money. And that was a bet that I just wasn't willing to take because there's some corruption and stupidity going on that would have essentially caused them to choose cutting shit instead of cutting jack-offs that don't need to have jobs, that are redundant fucking pricks that are in between the top and the middle that are unnecessary. They would never cut these people. They're never going to stop self-serving and providing their own justification for a paycheck. The only thing they would do is cut arts and other programs that students really need. So I'm really not going to wish that on anybody. I don't trust the school system to be able to do that. So I voted yes. I'm glad. There's a pretty overwhelming volume of yeses. It was pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And last week, on the way into a meeting about one of the major highways and to expand it or not and stuff, it was held in a Grand Rapids government building. And on the hallway, I ran into the clerk, the city clerk. And he told me that the turnout for Grand Rapids' tiny little single topic vote in the off election was actually higher than normal. He said something along the lines of, we normally roll about a 10%, and it was about 20. I was like, holy shit, man, thank you for telling me that. That makes me feel a lot better about the general zeitgeist, because I thought it would be really shitty. Because you only have school funding, so who gives a fuck? So yeah, I'm really, really happy about seeing that happen, because it gives us the ability to stick our noses in their business and tell them how the fuck to spend that money and start pressuring them to get rid of some of the redundancy and trimming the fat. As a son of a teacher, you probably heard a thing or two in your lifetime about top-heavy administration and bullshit bureaucracy from the top. Of course, in Nashville, it's just a department of the city, so it's not the same kind of... I was trying to explain to him how it all works in Michigan. He's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, none of it makes any sense. You savages. I have no idea how you all, like, feed yourselves, much less run a school district. Everything about how you all organize government sounds barbaric. and disgust me heavily.
Well, now we can go all in on my effort to start an official Fire Larry Johnson campaign.
I mean, or you could just learn what a metropolitan government looks like,
dude,
and just fix all of this.
Here's the thing. When Nashville went metropolitan government,
yes,
it was like Nashville was the 400-pound gorilla, and everything else in the room was probably not even a vertebrate animal kingdom member. Like, it was a 400-pound gorilla versus like a snail. I'll give a box turtle. Let's see, what's Forest Hills? A sparrow. Like, it's just like in Kent County, Michigan, there are, in the room with the 400-pound gorilla, there are like convincing orangutans and like very, very, very target, very, very well practiced poo sniper monkeys. It's a total zoo.
I don't understand why you don't just be like, hey, guess what? We have one school district for this entire county. We have one police department. We have one Department of Transportation.
Nope.
We have one sanitation department.
Nope.
And look at how much it saves
severely
us.
underestimate.
Look at how much money it saves us because we just have one of these.
You severely underestimate how highly Wyoming, Granville, Walker, and most importantly, East Grand Rapids consider themselves. You know how Bellevue is still its own little city in the city?
No, it isn't. Belmead is.
Oh, Belmead. Sorry, I meant to say Belmead.
And that's because Belmead has the median house price is about $7.5 million.
East Grand Rapids. So, yeah, East is a snobby fucking alcove. But weirdly, apparently trends liberal. I haven't figured it out yet.
And so does Belmead, technically. But, I mean, Belmead is also there so that the assembly can have someplace to hide and not have to report that they own a house in Nashville and have never visited their own district in the past 10 years.
All while enjoying farmers' schedules for when they're in session.
Bingo!
All right, let's close this fucker out and talk about the Biden factor. So we talked about all this. We've been sitting here being like,
before we do that, let's do our last beer.
Well, yeah, we could do the last one first. Oh,
so
God.
This is Music City Light.
Oh, God.
You need to try it.
Oh, fuck me. And you can really see through this one. I am never in for a light. I was at a bachelor's party once that was essentially a downtown Nashville Broadway bar crawl with a bunch of dudes. And the groom thought he was, or maybe it was the best man. I guess the best man buys everything. So it was the best man thought he was, going to be a man's man, gentleman's gentleman, and buy a round of beers for the boys. And he bought Miller Lite. And this was even before I really discovered craft beer. And I was just like, thanks, man. That's awesome.
Just try the beer.
Shit could be worse.
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah, wait, it's going to do that. It's going to do that.
That's not great.
It's a light beer.
But I guess that's the whole point. You just keep drinking it. You never have to taste the aftertaste.
Yep.
You can finish that.
Yeah, as light beers go, you know what? Here's the thing I like about it.
Fine.
Well, no,
I guess.
mean, compare this to a Coors Light or a Miller Lite or any one of a number of other light beers. And the main thing that this has got is it actually has flavor notes. It actually has a citrus note in the beer. There is a lemon citrus note in the beer. It actually has a malt note. It has something other than just Pilsner Iske. And hey, listen, am I ever going to pick this up from the store? No. I'm not a big light beer fan. If you do like light beer and you want to have the best damn light beer that you could possibly ever have,
that's fair.
Again, you gotta take it for what it is and work with it. And again, like
that's fair.
As light beer goes, this is the best damn light beer.
Yeah, they could do worse. They could do a lot worse. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll allow it. Let's talk about Biden.
So this is one thing I wanted to finish out with, because it's just been driving me up the wall, is everyone is in these polls saying, like, oh, Biden could lose to Trump. Biden could lose to Trump. And yet Democrats just ran the tables, or almost ran the table. Fuck you, Tate in Mississippi.
But even that, like, the gains there are still kind of weird.
Yeah, the gains are huge. The main thing to think of when we're looking at this is like, okay, we're in trouble, but according to these polls, but then we just ran the tables. I think we need to be wary of polls a lot more recently. And the reason is,
I mean, we already know this.
yeah,
We knew this in 2016. We generally had this confirmed in 2020.
yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite political moments will always be when I was in the running for the police oversight committee here in Nashville, and then Councilman Cooper, before he was mayor, was the one when I was giving my whole spiel on trust and police and shit, and how they really need an eye watching them. He said, police typically poll really highly with the public trust. So how does what you're saying about police and public trust compare with the fact that they poll high on public trust? And I said, this was right after the Hillary loss.
Yeah.
I said, Mr. Cooper, after the federal election we just experienced, are we really going to sit here and try to lean on polling? And his big, just adorable, bushy old man eyebrows, he's like,
I think that we need to be very weird. Again, and I think part of the issue is this. We don't belong to a cult, right? I think that's part of the issue. I don't like Biden. Right. You don't like Biden.
I mean, I don't dislike Biden. Like, that's the thing. Like, people seem to think that you have to, like, love or hate. You can't just look at the guy and be like, eh.
Yeah, kind of.
He gets the job done.
Sort of. Supreme Court would like a word. Anyway, I mean, I think the thing is that none of us are in a place where we think of Biden as the savior of anything, right? He is something that keeps government functioning.
Have nachos, you will. Yes.
I will try some nachos here in a moment.
After we get done, though, because nobody wants to see us eating.
No.
That's why I've been leaning over here. But yeah, it's not really terribly related. That's what we're finding out. Like this supposed polling doesn't seem to really have anything to do with the general opinion of everybody.
Yeah, I'm not, like, do I have a generally favorable opinion of Biden? Probably not. Am I still going to vote for him? Oh yeah,
right. I mean, given the choices.
Like, yeah, and Johnny,
if we had ranked choice voting, that'd be great. He'd be my second choice.
Yeah,
I'd vote for whoever that fucking guy was that Bill Maher interviewed, the random Democrat that decided he was going to run. I forgot his name.
Oh, that asshole. I think you might want to do a little bit more.
I don't know if I'd call him an asshole from what I saw.
You need to do a little bit more.
I said Bill Maher. David's automatically like, no. John, you bring up an interesting point, the Kool-Aid thing. I keep wondering, when are all the Trumpers going to actually, like, lie down and drink their Kool-Aid and do us all a favor?
I mean, and will they all be wearing the same Reeboks at the same time? Because obviously they're not wearing Nikes.
No, I don't think they're wearing Reeboks either. We got to find, like, a conservative sneaker maker.
Puma?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know if there is a conservative sneaker maker. But yeah,
buy stock in those.
I guess there kind of is. You could, like, look at all the stuff in the Wolverine brand. They like to kill rivers. They must be conservative.
Yeah.
So
here's what you need.
Never get a job at that company.
Stock up on their sneakers, and when the time comes, you're like, here you go, boys. There we go.
They could just try to consult with. You know what? They should let Mitt Romney train them. Then they can all wear magic underpants. Yeah. It's been a while since I made a Mormon joke. But yeah, the general idea here is that the polling doesn't really seem to match the results, and it's really not a very good. We don't have any more indication that Biden
I think
would be a sure loss than anything
Here's
else.
the thing. I think the polling matched the results in Ohio. It matched the results in Kentucky. It matched the results in, well, not in Virginia. Virginia was always a toss-up. I think the issue that we're running into with the Biden polling is this, is what are they polling on? How are voters thinking about this thing? Because most people I know, even people who voted for Trump the first time, looking back are like, no, I don't think I'll do that again.
Right.
The only people who seem really excited about him, there's not a lot of give already. In other words, you already know how many voters he has. So all Biden has to do is know what he needs in Pennsylvania and maybe even in some place like Ohio. Which, I mean, that's the thing is that, is Ohio in play now? I think because apparently the Republicans have determined that Virginia is no longer in play.
I think the secret is the double whammy of the social situation with the dog that caught the car.
Yeah.
Leaning in on that abortion topic while also leaning in on working people's issues.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the two thrusts, and then a background of, you haven't really heard about it, but we did all this stuff, all this good stuff. Yeah. They need to get way better at telling people about all the good stuff. We'll see how it goes. We're not going to try to play the outro music because we've already got plenty of music coming from downstairs. But this has been fun. This has been great to see you in person again, and do the show here and have our rickety table that we can make our camera bounce. Yeah, it's like an episode of the original series Star Trek. We just need to do that while we do this. Anyway, we hope you had a good time. We had a good time. It's time for us to finish up here so that we can hop to the next place and try some more Monday night brews. Yep. So thank you for tuning in. We hope that you tell a few friends and join us on a regular basis whenever we do our semi-regular show. And it's been fun pulling all the comments. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody here with anything great. Statewide ballot initiatives related to abortion will win 2024. That is absolutely correct. And for whatever reason, we need to know that Morgan likes peens. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get out of here. So we will sign off with the usual good night,
good evening,
and good luck.